it is my honor to introduce to America my friends, the Tragically Hip.
Call it That Night in New York, March 25th, 1995. A night Canadians of a certain vintage remember verbatim, when their favorite Canuck rockers began their takeover of the United States.
Because SNL in like the mid-90s was a big deal. I was just over the moon and really thought like I was rooting for them.
Except America never really became hip to Gord Downie and company. Consider 9 #1 albums in their beloved Canada, while south of the border, their biggest album topped out at 129 on Billboard.
They'll play Canada, tour across the country, and sell out barns, like big rooms. In the States, they'll sell out a Jubilee, and most of the time it's expats. And it's hard to say why that is.
Poetic lyrics, sharp hooks, and a charismatic frontman, seemingly a recipe for success. But the Tragically Hip remained the Tragically Who in the U.S. Not surprising, perhaps, given that many Americans couldn't locate Bob Cajun on a map.
Like Grace 2, for example, references a street I grew up on, which is Hazeldean. And so it's like when you hear that in song, you're immediately way more connected to both the artist and the band. And I mean, they obviously don't have that in the States, and I think that may be partially to blame.
But there is another theory too, this one involving Kurt Cobain.
Fully Completely was a big bombastic record that came out in 1992, was big and celebratory at a time when rock was really dark and angry. So there was a bit of a disconnect with what was being consumed on a bigger level.
Still, that's not to say the group didn't leave a mark stateside. While the band never took center stage at the Grammys or hit peak rotation on MTV, their songcraft impacted those who did.
When the announcement of his initial diagnosis came out, there was ripples from Eddie Vedder, I remember specifically talking about how that was a big deal, and he talked about it in concert in Chicago, I think it was. They absolutely left an impact, Gord specifically, because he really is one of the best songwriters of all time, without question. That's not even arguable.
So to paraphrase Gord Downie, American stardom didn't come, but perhaps it doesn't matter. Courtney Theriault, City News.